Hi, I'm Handyman Graham and welcome to the very first video on my channel. How crazy is that? The new channel focused entirely on DIY content. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So for the very first video, I thought it'd be the most fitting to do a DIY project. I get hit up all the time on Instagram asking if my DIY projects are for sale or if I can help out with a home renovation in your apartment or house. So I'm really excited to be able to gift one of my one-of-a-kind DIY projects to one of you. I'll be giving details how I can give this DIY project we're gonna be making to one of you guys later in the video. The first thing we have to do is figure out what we're gonna be making. I really have no clue where we're gonna start, so what I like to do is go to the thrift store and find a piece of furniture that kind of inspires me. So we're driving to Habitat for Humanity Restore right now. I'm kind of like hoping that we can find something that's interesting, unique, we can flip. I'm kind of manifesting like a cool cupboard of some sort. Other than that, I don't know. There's just always just the most random stuff. So it's hard to tell what there's gonna be. Look at this. It's like a little, turn into like a little broom closet or something for your apartment. I really like this. Like this is cool. Like a skeleton key. I'm not really like into this. What is this? What's that for? A cigarette? Yeah, I think it's an ashtray. This is nice. I actually need this for a different project, but not bad. This desk, maybe. I'm not feeling inspired by anything in particular. I'm not like defeated, but I'm gonna take my my dollar trim back home with me, and then we'll regroup. That sucks, but I mean I had to get something, and it was only $1. While there's a lot of cool furniture there, I didn't really connect with any one piece in particular, so I decided to call Alexandra for help. She's busy.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi. To what do I owe this pleasure?
I was wondering if you had like any projects, ideas, pieces of furniture that you would want to like flip.
The first thing that comes to mind, I've been seeing these coffee tables everywhere. They have the like huge wooden legs. Like you'd find the coffee table and then you'd sand it and you'd stain it and like all that, and then you could either make the legs, I guess, or you could hack it and make it look like it was made out of stone.
Okay, so what I'm getting here is making something, whether it be like legs or feet or something, might be a good idea.
Yeah. Well, have fun, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. We've done a ton of coffee tables in the past, so I feel pretty confident that I can bang out a coffee table pretty easily. I looked at Google Maps, there's a Value Village 5 minutes away, so I decided, heck with it. We'll just go there, check out the homeware section, but did not find any furniture, so we left kind of defeated. Nothing. Okay, let's go. I'm doing a last minute garbage, I don't know what you call it, like a scout, like I'm scouting. I did see a coffee table not too long ago that was kind of promising. A, I don't know if it's still gonna be there, and B, I don't know if it's gonna be worthwhile, but if it's what I'm hoping it's gonna be, then it could be a good flip. My eyes are just darting. Maybe I missed it, maybe it's gone. Okay, I think the coffee table's gone, which sucks, but I'll find something on Facebook Marketplace, I think. So I'm driving back to the workshop, and you know what? I'm thinking like, I'm gonna commit to this coffee table that Alexandra sent me. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna DIY those round legs, but I know for a fact that I can find an old table on Facebook Marketplace that I can flip. Here's one for 75 bucks. Selling this dining table, solid hardwood, DM for details, price negotiable, pickup only, in Etobicoke, 42-inch diameter. So it's huge. So it gives us like a nice base to maybe make it a little funky shape or something. I had a suspicion that it wasn't a solid wood tabletop. I took the risk anyways. I drove all the way out there. I'm hoping that the top of the table is a solid wood. Oftentimes like the base is solid and the top is like a veneered cover MDF or something. I'm hoping for the best, so it's worth coming out and checking it out. It was a really nice table online. It was a nice price, so yeah. When I saw the table in person, I knew it wasn't a solid wood tabletop, but that's okay because the juxtaposition of using like real concrete legs and then like a veneered tabletop kinda is a vibe. So the first thing I gotta do is draw everything out on paper. I find that this just helps like organize all my thoughts and just kind of like prepares you for like any hiccups or whatever along the way. So I'll often jot like materials needed, steps that I need to follow, tools that I need to use, and just some like rough measurements. And this just helps me get my entire vision down on paper. The coffee table looks really nice. It has a nice like oak veneer on it, but it isn't solid wood, so I'm gonna have to do some like edge banding if I cut it into a fun shape. For the base, I'm gonna be making like these concrete table legs. I found this cool blog post from like 20 years ago online about this person that made concrete balls for their garden, and they used like play balls as the mold for the legs. So I'm gonna do that, but instead I got some basketballs. I found these basketballs for like $7 at Walmart. The reason why I didn't thrift the ball is because I wanted them to be all the exact same size. Because it's gonna be a coffee table, I wanted it to be uniform and all identical, if that makes any sense. This is the concrete here, and some play sand, basketballs, buckets, some coffee. Ooh. Okay, a knife, a compass, some water, some trowels, a shovel, and a mixing bin, some concrete adhesive, and the table. I'm pumping up the basketballs so that they're a perfect sphere and adding sand to the bottom of 3 Home Depot buckets. Press it into the sand. I'm kind of like going like halfway up the basketball, I guess. I just don't want it to like move apart. Next, using a compass, I'm tracing a circle onto the top of each basketball and cutting them open with a razor blade, making sure each opening at the top of the basketballs are the exact same size. The concrete I'm using is Sackcrete PSI 6000. It's a high-strength synthetic reinforced concrete blend that contains some pea gravel. The reason why I'm using this concrete blend over like other concrete blends is because you oftentimes want to reinforce concrete with like metal or rocks, but because we're doing like spheres, the synthetic reinforcement just adds strength to prevent the concrete from cracking. I'm mixing the concrete in the concrete mixing bin with a shovel and adding the concrete to the inside of each basketball mold using a trowel. Very tiring. It's like each scoop weighs like 5 pounds. So I was having like a hard time leveling the cement. So I kind of created this like dowel attached to a reciprocating saw. And I just kind of like dip it in the top and it vibrates the cement and kind of like levels it out. Because I want the cement to like get into all the nooks and crannies inside the basketball. It seems to be working. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That wasn't tough, it was just quite exhausting. Like the concrete is so heavy. Each ball probably weighs like 50 pounds, so I just kind of smoothed the top out as much as I could, try to make it as flat as possible because that's the side that's gonna sit on the ball, nice and flat. We'll probably put like some mounting bolts or something in it, but it looks great. I'm gonna cover everything in plastic. You don't want the water to evaporate before the cement is able to cure. So I'm gonna cover everything with plastic. I'm gonna put it aside, I'm gonna come in on Monday, I'm gonna check it. Can't wait to see the results. So it's been about a week, and now it's time to open up the basketballs to see how the concrete cured. Okay, this one's looking a little... This one doesn't look all that good. This one's nice and flat. Take a look here.
And then what were you doing here?
And then this one's a little messy. But I can sand this down. And this one also looks really good.
Okay, so 2 or 3?
Yeah. Okay, it's pretty heavy. Kept its shape. Well, at least this coffee table is not going to tip over. Okay. Ooh,
So smooth. Oh, cool. That actually looks kind of cool with the lines.
I can tell by your smile, you're
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Okay, nice. The spherical concrete table legs look great. I'm so happy with them. I'll definitely like sand the top, try to make it like flatter so that it sits a little bit nicer on the tabletop. I'll probably put like a bracket or a piece of wood or something to attach it to the underside of the table. For now, I'm gonna cut the tabletop to like a cool shape. Oop. So I'm gonna draw the shape of the table on the back side of the tabletop just because when I was removing some of the supports, I guess, it kind of took off the thin layer of ply. So I'm gonna draw on the back so I know I won't come in contact with those, and then it won't show, like, there won't be like a divot like on the side. So I put the table legs on the table just so I can get a feel for like the proportions of the tabletop to the base. And yeah, I'm gonna draw around them and just with pencil at first and until I get something that I like. Okay, I like how these are farther apart. These are closer together. I'm cutting the shape of the tabletop using a jigsaw and sanding down the table starting from 80 grit sandpaper, ending at 150 with an orbital sander. I'm sanding the edges with an oscillating belt sander to make sure that each edge is a perfect 90 degrees. I'm using a spindle sander for the inside curve as well. Once the shape is smoothened out, I'm hand sanding the edge with 120 grit sandpaper just to knock down any edges. Okay, so I have the edges all sanded down. They're nice and smooth, ready for the edge banding. I tried to make the edges like as square as possible because I want this edge band to sit nice and flush on the edge there. I'll probably just like pre-cut this piece. Okay. The edge banding is a little bit wider than the thickness of the tabletop, so I'm gonna try to, rather than lining it up with one edge or the other, I'm gonna try to have it like right in the middle because I can sand it down and trim it later. I just don't want any of the particle board like being exposed at all, so if I have it in the middle, I have some wiggle room on either side. Using a clothing iron and a block of wood, I'm slowly heating the edge banding glue with the iron and pressing it down with a block of wood to make sure it's adhered properly. Okay, so far so good. You may have to go over areas multiple times in order to get it perfect. I'm using the wooden block to press down the edge banding just so my hand doesn't burn. So I have it overlapping the beginning edge, and I'm just gonna use my X-Acto knife, make sure I got a nice sharp blade, and I'm just gonna cut a straight line over both layers so that they will both, I'll peel away the extra on this piece and on that piece, and they will sit nice and flush against each other. not bad. I cut the edges of the edge banding down with an edge banding trimming tool, but I found that a loose razor blade worked just as well. I just want to get the edge banding like trimmed enough where I can go in after with like an orbital sander and sand it down. I find with the real wood veneer, because the grain goes lengthwise, it tends to want to tear off, and you might get like a little bit of tear out on the edge banding. So just be careful, take your time, don't rush it, and just know that if you have to redo the edge banding, all you gotta do is just heat it up, and remove it, and try again. It's easy. Why won't you stick? Oh. Ow, sheesh. Ugh. Okay, so I have the edges all trimmed up. Now I'm gonna go in with like 150 grit sandpaper and just clean up the edges. I'm kind of like pulling the edge banding, like as I'm sanding, like kind of pulling it towards the middle. Like I'm trying not to like push it out. I don't want to separate the edge from the table that I just spent like a half hour gluing. Now I'm gonna go in with my final sand at 220, and that will get the edge banding nice and smooth and level to the tabletop. Wow. This looks incredible. Take a look at the edge banding. It looks so seamless. To get a nice dark and moody finish, I'm applying 3 coats of Early American Gel Stain by Varathane and sealing it with 2 coats of a spray-on satin polyurethane. I'm sealing the concrete spheres with concrete sealer, which gives a nice satin sheen and makes the concrete smooth to the touch. And the idea behind the concrete sealer is that it's just gonna make the concrete color look nice and uniform, rather than, right now it's kind of like two-toned from the way it dried. Sheesh! Okay, this is like 150 pounds. In order to attach the concrete table legs to the tabletop, I knew I had to make some sort of bracket. I found a scrap piece of metal door trim from a thick fireproof metal door in the garbage, and I'm cutting them down into 10-inch strips of metal with a metal cutoff saw, and then just kind of cleaning it up with a metal sanding disc. In order to attach the brackets to both the concrete spheres and the tabletop, I'm drilling a series of holes in the metal strips, and then attaching the strips to the concrete balls using a hammer drill, a masonry drill bit, and self-tapping concrete anchors. Okay, so I have the brackets made. I have them numbered so that each bracket lines up with the corresponding ball. You want to center them as much as possible, but these are going to be completely hidden underneath the tabletop, so we're not going for aesthetics here. I'm just gonna countersink these screw heads into the wood. Finally, I'm attaching the concrete spheres to the tabletop by screwing the metal plate into the bottom of the tabletop with thick wood screws. Oh, wow, it's heavy. Cool. I think this table turned out amazing. It was my first time making like molded tabletop bases for anything. It's exactly what I was looking for, something like not too flashy, that doesn't really take away from the concrete table bases. They complement each other quite nice in their simplicity. There's a couple lessons that I learned. Because of the spherical shape of the mold, the air bubbles weren't like able to escape completely. They were kind of trapped by the round edges of the ball. So I think next time probably just spend a little bit more time vibrating the concrete mold to make sure all the air bubbles escape, or maybe even like poke little holes in it or something, I'm not sure. So now this is the fun part. I get to gift this coffee table to one of you guys. Follow me on Instagram at HandymanGraham and like and comment on this photo why you want this coffee table in your space. While I'd love to go on a cross-country road trip to hand deliver this to you guys, you must be located in Toronto in order to be considered. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this coffee table and what you'd like to see more of on this channel. There'll be plenty more DIY videos coming up in the future, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.